Editing Yonkers here. Just a little something at the very beginning of the video that I totally messed up on. I kept calling a character that's called Lenny. I kept calling him Kenny in this video. I don't know why I did that. Don't know how that even slipped my mind. But just to let you know right now, it's Lenny, not Kenny, and I am very sorry. Thank you. Takt Destiny was an anime I was really quite excited for when trailers were being released. An anime about what's basically the weapon system from Soul Eater, but rather used with music, was such a weird concept, but I wanted to see where it went. And it was pretty hyped with trailers coming out about the anime. With all this hype and knowing that it would be animated by Studio Mappa and Madhouse, who at the time were getting a lot of traction showing what they could do with shows such as God of High School and the latter seasons of AOT. However, once that initial hype had died down when episodes started releasing weekly, viewership also started to die down a bit. There wasn't as much discussion in forums, and there were quite a few more negative reviews popping up around. So with that interesting concept, great studio potential, and a pretty damn good animation, what made Takt Destiny flop? Before we go any further, I'm going to take a page from the New World Review, who you should totally get to know if you don't already, and I'd like to play a little game. Takt needs help writing his next symphony, and behind these three music arts lies his blessed melody. You must choose one of these three, and if you get it wrong, you must like and subscribe for more anime continents. Pick now, and I'll reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1, and it was Titan hiding Takt's final melody. If you got it wrong, you must comment on that shameful answer you had and subscribe. Now, back to the video. Takt Destiny had every right to be absolutely fantastic. The anime was directed by Yuki Ito, who has a very long list of credits in anime that were absolutely fantastic, and a cast of voice actors recognized from hundreds of different anime. With all of these things going for it, how did Takt become such a mid-anime? The first cause may have been the hype itself. Takt Destiny had a lot of hype around it while trailers were being released, and the idea was coming out, the trailers having well over 700,000 views on YouTube alone. The hype behind this anime was growing at an exponential rate, with more and more people simply seeing the animation behind the anime from the trailers and getting way more excited. Due to these expectations of this grand story with all of these factors, Takt was pretty much bound to fail. There are certain anime that can live up to the hype that it's producing, AOT being a great example of that. However, with Takt, there were so many things that just went wrong, causing the hype to dwindle away, causing them to never really getting back on their feet. One cause of this slip, which is such an important one, would be lack of real depth to its characters. Alright, listen, hear me out, follow me here, listen closely, closer, closer. Okay, now, controversial opinion coming in. I really like the character designs in this show. These character designs are so goddamn cool. Heaven and Hell, for example, are near perfect opposites of one another, picturing their true opposites in name and theme. Heaven is obviously meant to lean more towards a nicer, more dignified woman, sporting her older long-time dress and nice little hat, while Hell more exemplifies a more brutish woman, pretty much sporting what I would say is a roller skating outfit. Both sides exemplify total opposites of each other, which reflects their personality as well. And one cool little side detail are the scars, tattoos. I can't really tell which it is, but nonetheless, they have their similar scars on opposite eyes, defining even more the polar opposites that they are. This goes further into their design when they actually fuse much later in the anime to become Orpheus, which is also such a great mommy-dommy design. But with all these characters that look absolutely stunning, they have their personality of a wet piece of paper. Destiny is pretty much meant to have this personality. She was born out of nowhere and has no prior life experience and solely wants to destroy 2Ds and nothing more. Her development through the series is what should have made her character such a great one, but in execution, it was pretty lacking. Her character had some small developments, understanding and learning to appreciate the little things in life. However, it was just cut short from the length of the anime as well as the length of other things going on. Takt was pretty much just flat out plain and boring with his goals. He was one note in the case of wanting to make music and loving music. Of course, he wanted humanity to be able to listen and appreciate music, so he wanted to get rid of all the 2Ds. But that was his entire character for pretty much every episode of the anime. There was a little side note of also appreciating the little things in life, but again, it was something that was never gone too into depth due to the length of the anime. The only real characters I liked were Kenny, Titan, Heaven, and Hell. The latter two for personal reasons. But Kenny is where the show sort of shined in its own way. Kenny was the mentor of Takt, one that is absolutely flamboyantly fabulous. His character design is a perfect opposite of his music art Titan, whose name is also very ironic. Kenny is such a great character with nothing but a pure heart with intentions of gold. He wanted to protect Takt and did so at the cost of his life. We see Kenny a lot through the first few episodes before going away on another mission. You can really tell the difference of atmosphere in the episodes with Kenny not in there driving a plot to the characters. Without him in the picture, the show sort of halted. It certainly slowed down at the very least. The characters otherwise were largely one-note basic nobodies, despite their character designs largely all being so stunning. The colors that they used, the style and abilities they gave to the music arts were second to none. But when it came to actually writing these characters, they fell flat, causing the show to slow down quite a bit. And an anime that has such an interesting concept as it does, there is so much you can do to play off of it. Musical themes, cool environments, story elements that delve into different ideas and their effects. All things that could have very much taken place and drive the story into something way more than the blandness that we got. In the story, there are Soul Eater-like weapons called music arts, controlled by a conductor, who of which is largely useless in these situations. We never really get to see their part of the fight, rather than just sort of waving around a wand and having the music art do everything. It's another lost potential to see some cool choreography. But anyways, in this world there are essentially evil stones that create monsters that really don't like music and will kill you if playing said music. But humanity wants music, so they create music arts with good stones to fight the D2s to continue making music. Humans create the Symphonica, an organization of conductors and music arts, to fight against these D2s. One of the Symphonic members pretty much wants to sack all of New York to try to kill the D2s, but fails when the gang stops him. And that is pretty much the entirety of the story. For some reason, I just feel like they didn't write out the entirety of the story before starting their animation and getting things done. There were so many parts in the story that just felt like they made no sense logically. Sagan's idea of betrayal was very out of the blue. There were so many other options that could have been implemented. The characters felt like they had no real common sense, Lenny being the only one that really had things together or an idea of what was to do or what was going on. About halfway through the series, they ran out of gas on their story and tried to fill it with lackluster episodes. The entire story was just one big mess that felt rushed, really. It again feels like there was no real plan. And to be honest, there may have been a reason for that. The entirety of Takt OP Destiny was an ad campaign for a mobile game. Yup, that's right. Millions of dollars in animation and writing, and it was literally just one big ad for the Takt OP Destiny game coming out in 2023. This makes everything make a whole lot more sense to me. The entire story was rushed because it was meant to be rushed. It appears that in the game, there is not going to be any real mention of Takt, really. It pretty much will have no real connection to the game other than Destiny. Because of this, they just wanted to produce something that was just super fast and looks very good to sell their game to a huge audience of people. Which really does quite suck a lot. The idea of this anime is, again, very interesting, and having the idea just be pushed aside to promote its game is disappointing. Something that sucks even more is that the game was supposed to be released pretty soon after the anime was finished with its season, to ride that hype into the game's release. However, the game got delayed lots of times, and is coming out in 2023, despite the anime ending in 2021. The whole purpose of the anime is pretty much not, since the hype has completely died and Takt has sort of become this long lost memory in the anime community. But hey, maybe it did work in the end, because I'm still here nearly a year later after it's finished, still talking about it. Now that I've said all of these terrible things about Takt, I actually want to say something that I appreciate. That being the animation. The animation in Takt OP is absolutely stunning. Studio Madhouse and Mappa did an outstanding job with the animation. Everything is very colorful and fluid. Fights look absolutely amazing. It just kicks so much ass throughout each and every one. That fight with Titan after Kenny passed, where she started glowing, gives me goosebumps every time. Animation is such a key part of anime as a whole, and it by far is the best thing to come out of Takt OP. It truly is a case study on how amazing animation by itself can't save an anime. It can only go so far with its carrying until its flaws seep through, which with Takt, it very much does. Takt OP Destiny had potential. It had every right to be good, and every right to work. But the sad truth is, it just fell flat. There was only so much the animation could do, that the designs could do. But in a story with 12 episodes of things not really happening, leading up to a finale that was just flat out confusing on why things happened the way it did, it just didn't work. But there is something that is very important to remember with all of this being said. Despite everything I've gone through, everything I've said, there is one thing I must mention. I really like Takt OP Destiny. There was enough there for me to keep me interested and enjoying it. Which all just runs down to the most important thing about watching anime. Just enjoy what you're watching. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate it greatly. Sorry for the gap in a post. I just finished with finals and I am very happy about that. I'd like to say again that if you enjoyed the video or just like having it in the background, hit like and subscribe and comment absolutely anything you want. Just nothing like racist, please. Thank you. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.